You know you don't get to the gym often when holding your arm like this for 3 minutes makes you very sore. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. I'm very excited to try out the palette that we are testing today, and I'm sure you know by now we are going to be talking about the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. And I tried to write the title of the palette behind me here, but as you can see, it didn't really work out well. My head's cutting off half of it. It is a very large head, so you have to expect that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this palette. I'm sure you guys have seen 500,000 videos about this palette because it is such like a huge launch that people were really excited for. I know I fought my way through like the whole process of buying it, and to be honest, it probably wasn't necessary because, I mean, it was on sale all day. It did not sell out, so I think that's really awesome that they were stocked up enough, like ready for the masses to get in there. And because these palettes did not sell out in like 10 minutes, I was able to get my hands on one for myself, but more excitingly, I was able to also pick up one for you guys. So this Subculture palette right here is going to be part of my 20k giveaway. We just hit 20k yesterday, I believe, and I'm so over the moon about it, so excited, can't believe it happened. But this palette, along with the Modern Renaissance palette, its sister palette, not this one, because this one's disgusting. This one I've used for a very long time, but a brand new Modern Renaissance palette and the Subculture palette, plus a whole lot of other goodies, will be part of my 20k giveaway, so make sure you guys are subscribed. I will leave the link down to that giveaway down below, and there really isn't much you have to do. I'm trying to make it super easy, super simple. It is international. Alright, I've already been talking forever, so let's just go ahead and get into it. First of all, like, it's just beautiful to look at. I absolutely love it. I love this like velvety outer packaging. They kept that from the Modern Renaissance palette. I'm glad they made it a little bit of a darker color though, because as I showed you guys earlier, my Modern Renaissance palette is disgusting. I mean, it still looks cute from like maybe way back here, kind of, but up close it is just absolutely covered in eyeshadow and makeup. So I'm hoping that this one will hide the stains a little bit easier. I am quite a messy like makeup person. There's makeup literally all over this area, so I'm hoping this one will conceal the mess a little bit. And then it does have the inside components, the mirror, the double-sided brush, and I like that this can bend all the way back. The little double-ended brush it comes with here is just black, and it says Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it has a smaller, shorter, more dense like packing end and then a fluffier blending end. It seems pretty soft and nice, so I'll definitely be using this today as we create our eye look, which I'm so excited about because these shadows are beautiful. They're so pretty. I'm real happy. I'm real happy. I've been wanting a palette that's kind of different because I have so many palettes that look like this one. I have a lot of warm tone palettes with some like different type of red colors and browns, but this one's just different than anything I currently own, which I'm really happy about. I'm sure there are other palettes out there. People have compared it to different things that look similar to it, but for me personally, I don't own anything that looks like this, so I'm very excited. I'm personally really drawn to this like mustardy color and this more like slight orange color, and then the blues and the greens. Like, I'm real excited. I'm sure you guys have seen like a million swatching videos and like swatches on Instagram and stuff of this palette here, but you know, we'll just do a couple more because I haven't personally touched this yet and got my fingers into it, so I'm very excited about that. Alright, so first up here we have Cube, and I really was not expecting this one in the palette. I thought this was just a white shade at first when I saw swatches and things, but this is actually like an iridescent white, so it has like a pink shift to it. It didn't really show up very well in the brush swatch, but it did in the finger swatch. It's a pretty shade. It's not really my favorite in the palette, but it's very interesting to have in there. Then next up we have Dawn, and this one was so creamy when I moved my finger around in it. So here we have the finger swatch and here we have the brush swatch. I think they look very similar. The pigmentation is absolutely fantastic. Very excited about this one. Next down the line we have Destiny. I've been very excited about this like khaki green that's in here. This is a finger swatch and this is the brush swatch. Again, I think they look very similar. Pigmentation is great. Next down we have Adorn, and it looks beautiful both ways. This is the finger swatch here and this is the brush swatch. Down from Adorn we have All Star, and I typically have some issues with colors like these in palettes. They tend to be a little bit patchy, but this is the finger swatch and this is the brush swatch. The brush swatch is a little bit patchy looking, but I'm sure you could really blend it out nicely. Down from Adorn we have Mercury, so here's the finger swatch and here's the brush swatch. Again, pigmentation for both of those looks pretty great. And then finally we have Axis, which I think is a beautiful color. I'm really in love with this one. These two actually kind of look a little different to me in the finger swatch versus the brush swatch. The finger swatch turns out a little bit more blue, and then the brush swatch looks a little bit more green to me. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but they're both beautiful either way. Before we start into the second row of swatches, I just wanted to show you guys this really fast. So I just swatched the first row for you guys with fingers and brushes, and as you can see, once I dipped my brush into the pan, there was a lot of powder kick-up, and there was a lot of powder kick-up on my arm as well. So I feel like, especially with a lot of these darker ones, there will probably be fallout, because you can see here, Axis, like that's a lot of powder left over from like the brush being touched to it. So you just might want to be careful while you're using these. If you're a face makeup before eye makeup kind of person like I am, you just really want to make sure like that fallout on your cheeks, so you watch out for it, or if you have any of those little guards, that might be good. Alright you guys, these swatches on this arm were a struggle. I am very right-handed, like so right-handed. I can't do anything with this hand over here. It serves almost no purpose. So I had like my brush like trying to swatch like this, so these swatches are not fantastic, but here they are. Alright, so again, just like the first row of shadows, I did a finger swatch and then a brush swatch next to each other. So we're gonna go ahead and start here with Roxy, which is a beautiful color. I really am enjoying this color. So here is the finger swatch and then the brush swatch. I think they both are very pigmented, very nice. Then next to that we had Electric, and I had a little bit of issue with this, and I feel like most people in the reviews also had a little bit of issue with this. So this is the finger swatch, and then here's the brush swatch, and for some reason I really couldn't get mine to like come through. I did mist my brush and everything, but it just wasn't really giving me the impact I wanted. Then next up we have Fudge, which is this beautiful like chocolatey color, and this is the finger swatch and this is the brush swatch. The brush swatch looks a little bit patchy on here, but that could just be my terrible brush work. But I think you could work with it and blend it in because it is a very pigmented color. Alright, next up we have one of the colors I was most excited about, and this is New Wave. I think they look beautiful equally in the finger swatch and brush swatch. Very excited about this color. I will try to use it today. Then we have Untamed, and this one I was a little surprised about. I thought there was going to be more pigment, more like Axis, but it wasn't super pigmented. I still think it's a very pretty color. So we have the finger swatch and then the brush swatch. Again, a lot of these could be messed up by my terrible swatching skills, but we'll see. We put them on the eye. And then next to that, another color I was super excited about is Edge, this beautiful like mustard yellow. Again, I think both of these look fantastic in the finger swatch and brush swatch. And then at the very end here on the elbow, we have Rowdy, and I think it's very pigmented in the finger swatch. The brush swatch looks a little bit terrible, but I think again that could be just the swatching situation. Alright, again really quickly, I just want to show you guys the fallout situation with the bottom row of shadows. So here is what the shadows look like after I have dipped my brush into them. You can definitely see these mattes have quite a bit of powder kick up from them. They are crazy pigmented though, so I think that's probably why. Alright, so the true test of these shadows is going to come with the eye application. I'm very excited to get these on my eyes. I cannot wait. Now again, I am no professional. I'm not fantastic at makeup. I really am not. So I'm just going to do my best with like just a normal person's approach to these shadows, because I think most people who are buying this palette are probably normal people just like me. So yeah, I'm just a girl sitting in front of a chalkboard wall talking to a camera. No professionality here. So that being said, let's just go ahead and dive into this and get started. I am going to be using the brush that comes with the palette, but I also have some other brushes to just sub in for different purposes. So let's go ahead and get started and hope it turns out pretty good. said to try to avoid, and I go ahead and do it. Alright you guys, so here it is with everything on, and as you can probably see in the footage, things started going awry very quickly. As I had said before, there is a lot of fallout from these shadows, so I was like, oh, be sure to like make sure it doesn't fall on your cheeks and things. Well, not but 2 seconds into it, I already had shadow on my cheeks, and then Axis, the one that I said you should really watch out for, yeah, I got it everywhere. So it was all over my cheek, and then I like held up a paper towel underneath my eye to like prevent it from falling out, and apparently there was blue on the paper towel, so then I have blue underneath my eye, and things started going downhill a little bit. But I guess everything kind of came together in the end. This is definitely a very strong eye look. It's a little bit more deep and intense than I was planning on, but I just kept putting on shadow after shadow. My lips, I didn't want anything too colorful, so I put on this Smashbox Always On liquid lip in the shade Stepping Out, and I am almost out of this. This is one of the first liquid lipsticks that I've ever like almost run out of. I really love this stuff, and then I wanted it to be like a little bit more like glossy and have a little bit more of a pop because it is kind of getting dry. So I put on this Kevyn Aucoin Molten lip color, and the wand's real dirty now because I wasn't paying attention and I kept trying to like cram it into the Smashbox liquid lipstick, and I looked down and I was like, oh, that's why it's not fitting. It's not the right one. So hopefully I can clean this off because this stuff is really cool. It definitely gives your lips like an iridescent look, or if you're just wanting to like put it in like the center of your lip, it does give it more of like that pouty look, which I like. I have been really liking Kevyn Aucoin stuff recently. I just used this contour book from Kevyn Aucoin. This is the volume 2, and I used it to do my contour and like highlight and stuff today, and I actually really liked it. I almost liked it more than my Shade and Light palette, which is definitely saying something. And then for the eyeliner, I used my Every Single Day Kat Von D tattoo liner in the shade Trooper, and then I used my favorite mascara, which is YSL Beauty The Shock, and this is almost empty too. Anyway, so the shadows themselves, I think they perform really great. I can definitely see how they would get a little muddy if you are trying to stack and build multiple colors, especially the darker ones if you're trying to put them together. I used Rowdy underneath my lower lash line. You probably can't tell like in the screen right now, but you can see a little bit of that like plummy purple when you're up close, which I like. A lot of times when I use shadows that color, it just kind of looks black or brown, so I'm glad that you can see a little bit of that plum coming through. I think the shadows did really blend well. Again, just watch out for that fallout. It'll definitely get you. It's very pigmented, so if you want to have blue or green cheeks, just let it fall, but if not, I would definitely take caution. I personally am really excited to try out more looks with this palette and see what I can come up with. This might not be like my go-to look here. Again, I was just experimenting and playing around just so we could see like how they apply to the eye and that kind of stuff, but I'm sure there's a lot of very interesting looks that you can come up with. I think for the fall, I'm going to be using this all the time, and I still probably will be using my Modern Renaissance palette because that's just like, it holds a special place in my heart. That's one of my favorite palettes of all time. So I'll definitely be using both of them back and forth. I really do love these shadows. Anastasia Beverly Hills just makes amazing shadows, and I'm very excited about this palette, and I hope you guys are excited to win this palette right here. This giveaway is going to be running for a little while. It's going to be running for a good amount of time to give you guys time to get in there and get your entries in. There will be like daily entries and that kind of things because I'm running it a little bit different than I do my monthly giveaways. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so very much for watching. It really means the world to me. Like, you guys don't know how much it means to me that you watch these videos. I really thought no one ever would, but it means like the absolute world to me that you guys actually watch these. So just thank you so very much for that. Be sure to enter into the giveaway, and other than that, I just hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!